Welcome back to another Warrior Wednesdays. Welcome back, all my warriors. Today, I really want to talk about a subject that really has dawned on me recently. And I would have never really known this if certain things didn't happen here in British Columbia. So recently, some of you may know that British Columbia had shut down their gyms due to things, that's going on in the world right now. And when I started to get back into the gym, I knew I was going to be extra sore. If you're a person that has worked out before, or you do work out, when you quit or you stop going for a little while there, and the very first couple times you go, you're extra sore. And it's a feeling that I honestly miss, because when I wake up the next morning and I'm sore, it means that I've pushed myself, that I'm growing, that I'm becoming stronger. And I remember when I very first started working out, I didn't like that feeling, It kind of discouraged me because I just was always sore, But now that I've been doing it for some time, I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's the subject I want to talk about, is being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because when we're uncomfortable, we're in a place of growth. We're in a place that is foreign to us. We're in a place that is ultimately out of our comfort zone. It's a place that you will grow eventually if you stay there. And I was just reflecting back on how I missed it. I missed being sore. That's kind of a weird thing to miss, right? Is always being sore. It's like rolling up, waking up when you wake up in the morning, and you're happy. I'm grateful. But when I start to move, I'm like, oh man, you're sore. And there's no way around that when you start to work out. And when you start lifting weights, that's what happens. You work out and then you get sore. Then you move on to another body part. Do the same thing. And then eventually when that body part is just a little tiny sore, or it's not sore anymore, you go back to work out on that area again. That's just the glory of working out. You're always going to be consistently sore no matter what, because that means you're growing and you're uncomfortable. And it's pretty funny because, the whole new year, new me thing, people want to make changes, and some people do. Some people actually make changes and stick with it. And, where I work, I'm a union iron worker. For some of you that didn't know this, I'm a union iron worker, and currently at the job where I work at right now, I'm a foreman. So I help my crew get the job done. I do everything possible for them to get the job done safely, and I'm basically just their servant. I'm a glorified servant, and I'm okay with that. Some people think the opposite of that. People think when they're the foreman that they're the boss, when in all reality, I'm working for my crew, and I do everything in my power that I can to make sure that they're happy and everything's going okay, and number one, that they're safe. So, sometimes with union and union rules and just agreements, sometimes the foremen have different places where we sit to eat. So we have our own little area where we actually do all of the paperwork and our timesheets and all that. And it's all just all of us foremen. And there's this guy that sits beside me, and he's never ever worked out before. And there's another foreman in there that used to compete. He used to power lift, and he was a bodybuilder. So he took some time off. He's taken like the last two years off, I guess, of working out. And he's recently wanted to start getting back into the gym himself. And so these two foremen are working together in the gym after work. And I could just tell that the new guy that's never worked out before, you know, they didn't go hard. You know, they went soft, both of them. They went easy into the gym. And that's one thing people, you know, really, really need to start doing. When you start to do something new, you can't just jump out of the gate and go all in. You know, it's like the tortoise and the hare. You got to go slow and steady. And even myself, when I got back into the gym, I knew being off the gym for a month that I've lost strength. And it's pretty crazy how quickly you lose that strength. But just as quick as you lose it, you gain it back. So my first couple days back in the gym, I don't even have, I let the ego go. Don't even have the ego there. And I started off lighter. What I was lifting before, I went, 25% down from that, because I just knew I couldn't do that. And I knew if I went too hard, I would be really, really sore, to the point where it's actually unproductive. They say it's unproductive to go extra hard when you first start out in something, because you're breaking down your muscle tissue so far, to the extent that it takes a lot longer to rebuild itself up and to get stronger. So I went lighter, and it was funny because I knew he was breaking them in nice and easy, so he wouldn't get discouraged and not want to go. And I could just tell when he was sitting down in his chair that he was sore. And I looked at him and I smiled. And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Get used to it." And he's like, "What?" I was like, "You're sore, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm sore." And then I was just like, "Get used to it." Because when you work out, like I mentioned, you're always going to be sore. And that's a good thing, because you know that you've pushed your muscles to a new area, you've pushed your muscles past its limit, so that that it'll become stronger, that it'll grow. And I never really worked out before like a bodybuilder. And I think it was about the end of September, maybe, it was roughly right around the end of September, when I have some friends who own a supplement store. They own an Active Body in Burquitlam. And if you don't know where Burquitlam is, it's basically the border of Burnaby and Coquitlam. So that's why they call it Burquitlam. And they're two Filipino brothers. They're really, really humble dudes. They're really, really amazing people. Good people to be around. Very well knowledged. And they're very smart. They're very, very well known in the bodybuilding community. Both of them compete, professionally, and have done very well, and have trained people to do very well. So I really wanted to take my body and lifting experience to new levels. So I started to work out with one of the brothers, and man, bodybuilding is something else. It's got to be 99% mentality. it's got to be more mind than anything. You know, the weights are heavy, yes, but when you're pushing so much blood into that area into that muscle, it gets intense. And the mind is so powerful that it'll try to do everything possible for you to stop doing that because it thinks it's protecting you. And when I got into bodybuilding, man, it's yeah. But now, you know, I really, really enjoy it because I understand that I'm growing, that I'm pushing my own mentality, my mind, also as I'm pushing, you know, my weight, you know, my muscles in the gym. So it's a win-win because you're also having to push your mind past its limits and to tell your mind that you're in control. It's not in control of you. And that's how you get that's how you get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And lifting weights is phenomenal. You know, they actually say that if you know, are genetically, it runs in your family that you have Alzheimer's, that you can actually delay Alzheimer's with lifting weights because of that aspect of you pushing your mind. You know, you actually delay that. So if it runs in your family, I recommend that you start looking into lifting weights if you're not already. And there's tons of professionals out there that can help you do this. There's trainers out there, there's YouTube, there's programs, you know, there's so many options now in this day that you can, you know, do things like this, delay that Alzheimer's. Even up to 10 to 15 years, they say that you can delay that with just physical exercise. And I was listening to this interview the other day, and they talk about the studies on lifting weights, even just 2 to 3 times a week, you know, for half an hour to an hour, getting into a gym or wherever and lifting weights. The benefits on it are phenomenal, you know, and lifting weights will allow you to burn fat while you're not even working out. If you do it a certain way, you can literally be sitting at home burning fat. You know, like the whole get fit in 14 days or whatever. It's not getting fit in 14 days because it's a lifestyle change, but you know, there are proven studies that you will burn fat while not even working out, and lifting weights is one of them. So if you want to start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, and don't push yourself right out the gate. You know, don't just jump into the deep end before you know how to swim, because then you'll drown and you'll discourage yourself from learning how to swim. And there's other ways, you know, to push yourself to getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And one way that I started to get comfortable with being uncomfortable was a very simple way, but it's not the easiest. Honestly, I think it's one of the best ways to do it, to create that discipline, but it's to take cold showers. Not the whole shower. I'm not that crazy. Well, I'm not that crazy yet. But I will take my shower, do what I gotta do my normal things, right? And then at the very end, I always crank that shower cold. And I sit there and I breathe into my belly. As that water turns cold. And I sit in there for 30 seconds to a minute. And it's very there's a lot of beneficials to taking cold showers. And one of them is actually, it'll help prevent you from getting sick as often, you know. Another benefit to cold showers is if you take a shower before you go to bed, actually the cold allows your body to relax more, which you think is totally different, right? Because you start getting going in a shock, like, you know, you clench up and you tense up. But if you actually sit there and you breathe into it, it allows it to be a little bit more easier. You know, it's still uncomfortable, but it's not as uncomfortable as if you're sitting there in shock. If you're sitting there breathing, your body will actually start to enjoy it a little bit. It's kind of cool, you know. So that's the way I started to create discipline in my life, and how I started to get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. And that was taking cold showers. Anytime I step into that shower, I do it. And there's been many a times where I say, oh, I'm not going to do it this time. I'll do it next time. But when you do that, you're allowing your mind to be in control of you, not the other way around. You're not in control of your mind. So if you want to start start to take control of your mind, start taking cold showers at the very end of your shower. And you will start to create that discipline where you are in control and you tell your mind what you're doing. So that's honestly one of the easiest ways. It's not easy, but it's one of the easier ways where I started to create discipline. So I want to challenge you to start doing that. Start taking a cold shower at the very end of your showers. Do it for 10 seconds and slowly lean your way into 30 seconds to a minute. And since I'm a male, I have to shave my face. And I always, shave in the shower now. And when I'm done shaving, I will actually sit my face under that cold water, because the cold water will actually close all my pores up after I'm done shaving. Because when you want to shave, you want to exfoliate the pores, right? You want to open them up with hot water. That's what I do in the shower. I turn it hot, get my face, warmed up, get the hairs all warmed up. I shave, and at the very end, I will rinse off in cold water, so it closes off all the pores. The same thing with my hair. If I'm washing my hair, I will use warm water, and then afterwards I use cold water, because it closes all your pores up. And it's pretty phenomenal, cold water. And it actually allows your body to get into good deep sleeps if you take a shower before you go to bed. And you think it'd be the opposite, right? But it's not. So do that. I challenge you to start taking cold showers at the very end of your shower. And remember to breathe into your belly, like I had spoken about in my very, very, very first podcast that I started, mindfulness. Belly breathing. Belly breathing is phenomenal for everything in life. And understand that if you're uncomfortable, that's good. You're going to grow. You're going to become someone new. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable and create that discipline. And that's honestly how I'm going to live the rest of my life now, is being uncomfortable. And I know that being uncomfortable is where I'm growing and where I'm going to become someone that I was always meant to be. But if I stay comfortable my whole life, that'll never ever happen. Because, there's nothing wrong with being comfortable. But as human beings, we're not meant to be always comfortable. Our brains are a million years old. And the heat makes us weak. The heat makes us comfortable. And that's okay, right? Sorry, I had to drink a little bit of water. My throat's getting dry again. Okay, back onto it. So, see, I'm being uncomfortable. Drinking water and coughing on the mic. And I just like to go straight forward when I record. There's no fancy editing. There's none of that. It's just me and the raw me. That's basically it. So if I got to clear my throat or drink or whatever on this podcast, I'm going to do that. And naturally, I don't want to do that because I feel like I'm being rude or whatever, right? But that's me pushing past being uncomfortable with, clearing my throat and then editing it out. That's not the true me. That's not the true, see, look. That's not the true me, see? And I need to drink some more water. Maybe that's what it's telling me, that I need to drink water. So start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And it's a process that'll never, ever, ever end. But it's worth it. The other side of that uncomfortableness is worth it. So, with that, I'm done for the week. I will see you next Wednesday. Sukani for the support. Sukani for tuning in. I'm very, very grateful that people get, they get information from the things I've grown through and the things that I talk about. And I'm super thankful for your support and all the kind words and all the, all the comments that you leave. Thank you, Sukani. And share this with someone. Share this with someone that you know that really wants to make a change in their life, but they haven't understood that they need to be uncomfortable. Maybe you know someone who started a New Year's resolution and they're on the verge of quitting now, because usually by now most people have quit because they are not used to being uncomfortable. They think they have to be comfortable to grow, when it's the other way around. So with that, I am done. Sukani on Winnegit Dagas. And remember, everything always happens for the right reasons. See you next Wednesday, my warriors.